is the QTV Nightly News, coming to you from our studio on Caraba Avenue, and I am Andy Kema. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. The United Nations in the Gambia launched a project to empower communities in the Gambia to prevent, mitigate and resolve land-related conflicts exacerbated by climate change. At the opening ceremony of two-day stakeholder consultation, the mayor of Banjul, Malik Low, on Thursday called on partners to support the domestication of Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) to help improve the quality of life in Banjul. In his country's situational report to the ECOWAS Parliament, Sierra Leone's delegation said, notwithstanding the challenges it faces, the security situation in the nation remains calm, peaceful and stable after an attempted coup last November. In sports news, Barakunda Lower Basic School have been crowned champions of the Chamwe Bunda Cluster Girls football competition in the Upper River region. And in international news, today the 18th of July is Nelson Mandela International Day, commemorated around the world to honor the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela. Those were the headlines, and now look at the stories in detail. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV Nightly News. The United Nations in the Gambia has launched a project to empower communities in the Gambia to prevent, mitigate and resolve land-related conflicts exacerbated by climate change. Momodu Gajaga attended and he now reports.
With the effects of climate change affecting people and their livelihoods, the United Nations Peace Building Fund launched this project around land-related conflicts, from which 10 communities in the Lower River region, the North Bank region and the Central River region will benefit from the project. Musibidi Rampidi, FAO representative in the Gambia, explains.
This initiative underscores our collective commitment to addressing pressing challenges due to climate change in the Gambia. We are aware that the Gambia, like many other developing nations, faces daunting impacts from climate change. Rising temperatures, erratic weather patterns, and rising sea levels are not just environmental concerns, but have a profound socio-economic implication, particularly on agriculture and land use.
Climate change has severely impacted many communities, especially those engaged in agriculture, experiencing either drought or too much rain, which could lead to food insecurity. The project will be jointly implemented by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO, the World Food Programme WFP, and the International Organization for Migration IOM. Carl Frederick Paul, the UN Resident Coordinator in the Gambia, and Emmanuel Muruwisi, IOM Chief of Mission in the Gambia, respectively spoke about the project.
Today we stand at a very critical time and a very important juncture. The climate crisis is not only an environment challenge, but it is a threat multiplier that exacerbates existing vulnerabilities and creates new ones.
That the project that we're launching today recognizes a strong link between migration, environment, and climate change, and the importance of adopting comprehensive approaches to addressing migration challenges.
The Gambia government was represented by Aliou Loum, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Public Service, deputizing for the Secretary General, and Safi Senkare Faraj, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Lands, respectively, described the project as important to address community conflicts over land caused by climate change.
The project, we believe, will help to reduce inter-community conflicts arising from land disputes, enhance food and nutrition insecurity, promote climate resilience, and so on.
I would like to express our profound gratitude to the UN Peacebuilding Fund through the UN Resident Coordinator for their invaluable support in making this project a reality.
The land-related conflicts, which the project is hoping to address, typically cause disruptions to food production, including rice, the Gambia's staple food. It is hoped that the project will solve such disputes and thereby improve livelihoods and promoting social cohesion. Mamadou Gajaga, KTV News.
The mayor of Banjul, Rohey Malik Low, on Thursday called on partners to support the domestication of Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, to help improve the quality of life in the city. She was speaking at the opening ceremony of a two-day stakeholder consultation to develop an action-oriented voluntary local review, VLR, for Banjul. Ansumane Sonyasi tells us more.
The consultation provides a platform for meaningful exchange of ideas to complement sustainable development efforts in the city, and the development of the VLR will enable Banjul to identify the city's development priorities based on realistic data and extensive community consultations. Underscoring the importance of the stakeholder convergence, Mayor Low outlined some of the city's most pressing challenges, including climate, natural disasters such as flooding, infrastructural development, and the lack of sufficient support programs for women and young people, and urged stakeholders to support the city's SDGs domestication drive by investing more in sectors such as health, education, and women empowerment, amongst others.
The success of our endeavors depends heavily on the strength of our partnership, both within our community and beyond. Collaboration is key to overcoming challenges and achieving sustainable development. Today's gathering is a testament to our commitment of working together towards a common vision for Banjul.
Carl Frederick Paul, the UN Resident Coordinator, and Nafisa Bint Safiq, the UNICEF country representative, say given the city's unimpressive SDGs record, it is essential for partners to invest more to help build sustainable social protection structures and capacity building to ensure that Banjul continues to thrive as a child-friendly city. While they acknowledge national efforts to attaining SDG targets, they stress the importance of supporting local councils, arguing that this will greatly complement the country's efforts towards attaining the SDG targets.
Like many coastal cities, Banjul faces unique challenges and opportunities as well. The threat of rising sea level, the extreme impact of erratic weather patterns, the pressure of rapid urbanization are not abstract concepts, they are daily realities.
Where we realized that 1 in every 10 children in the country are facing multiple deprivation. And when we talk about deprivation, it is essentially what Madam just mentioned, right to health, nutrition, social protection, right to many other aspects. Which means it tells us that we have a long way to go in terms of achieving the sustainable development goals in this country.
Telman Maharamov is the UN Habitat's Partnerships and Program Management Officer for SDG localization and local governments.
65% of all the SDGs are either won or lost in the cities. The mayor has mentioned that all the SDGs, they are actually to be localized to achieve by 2030. But there was also an analysis of the different mandates of the local and regional governments globally, and the result of this is showcasing that actually 65% it is directly mandated to the responsibilities of local and regional governments.
As they discuss ideas that will positively impact Banjul's development trajectory, stakeholders are expected to develop strategies that will address development challenges with a view to transforming the city through well-tailored programs in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. Antoine Nyasi for KTV News.
In its country's situational report to the ECOWAS Parliament, the Sierra Leone's delegation said, notwithstanding the challenges it faces, the security situation in the nation remains calm, peaceful and stable as a result of effective security measures put in place after last November's attempted coup. Aliou Cisse has more.
The report comes a few days after several individuals were arrested in Sierra Leone, allegedly with bomb-making materials. Veronica Cisse, head of Sierra Leone's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, presented the report during a session chaired by 4th Deputy Speaker Bileji Tungara of the Gambia. said the government of Sierra Leone continues to implement policies and programs aimed at improving security and economic development in the country through security sector collaboration to address the threats.
These threats include misuse of social media, encroachment and annexation of Sierra Leone territorial Yenga by the Republic of Guinea, organized crimes such as human trafficking, illegal migration, illegal logging, illegal fishing, illicit mining, armed robbery, cultivation, and trafficking of marijuana, narcotics, and restricted medical drugs, particularly kush.
ECOWAS leaders have decided to deploy a regional security mission to support the country to maintain stability and security. On human rights, CISE informed the community parliament that in a bid to protect the rights of girls, Sierra Leone passed a law in June 2024 banning child marriage.
A person who attempts to marry a child, conspires to cause a child marriage, conducts or presides over a child marriage, aids and abates a child marriage, commits an offense, and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment for not less than 15 years or to a fine not less than 15 new leones, about $2,221 or both such imprisonment and fine.
However, Honorable Edwin Melvin Suno Jr., head of Liberia's delegation and chairperson for the Parliament's Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security and Africa PR Reform Mechanism, is surprised that the report is silent on the status of former President Nkrumah, who is in Abuja on medical grounds, having been accused of involvement in the failed coup, although others say he is in exile. The Liberian head of delegation also questioned the report's silence on alleged political prisoners in Sierra Leone.
The government agreed to free the political prisoners. They have not done that yet. The government agreed to pay the backlog of those MPs from the opposition side that was affected. They have not done that yet. And there's still a lot of political tension in Sierra Leone. So I think Sierra Leone should be honest with this parliament to give us a clear political picture of the situation in Sierra Leone.
The Sierra Leone government has often said there are no political prisoners, only those in custody accused of involvement in alleged activity, including the failed alleged coup attempt. Benin and Guinea-Bissau also presented their respective country reports. Benin's report highlighted the significant constitutional reforms, which include changing the order of electoral polls, placing the presidential election before the legislative and communal elections, and a review of the electoral code. On the other hand, Guinea-Bissau's report focused on the political and institutional challenges following the unconstitutional dissolution of the parliament by President Mbalo in December 2023. With ECOWAS leaders now calling on Guinea-Bissau to speed up the process of holding legislative elections, delegation expressed concerns about how the elections could be fair, free and transparent with an inactive National Electoral Commission. Members were unanimous in condemning President Mbalo for dissolving the National Assembly and called for legislative elections. Reporting for QTV News from Abuja, Nigeria, I am Aliu Sise.
We'll now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have more local, international and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to the future of transportation in the Gambia. The Bertel Harding Highway, a 22-kilometer double carriageway, is set to revolutionize travel and connectivity in our beloved country. Roundabouts are essential for maintaining traffic flow. Always yield to vehicles approaching from the left, already in the roundabout, and signal your exit to inform other drivers. Adherence to traffic rules is crucial. Maintain speed limits, use indicators for lane changes, and be mindful of pedestrian crossings.
Hello, boss. Operation launched. Go on, Bomber, go on. I don't understand. What is it, Bomber? Hello, boss. I don't understand. Amazing discounts on all the best products.
but it's really easy to understand. During Butty Days, take advantage of exceptional discount up to 50% on tile, sanitary, and light. From June 29th to July 13th, you will be splurging. Butty Mat, welcome home.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. As they sit this year's Gambia's Basic Education Certificate Exams, GABES, which ends today, students and principals of Farafenni Upper Basic School and St. John's Baptist Basic Cycle Schools are hoping for better results than last year. Our reporter Don Williams visited the schools, and he now filing this report.
As the Gabeke exams for upper basic schools officially started on the 8th July, I visited schools in Farafenni and spoke to students and principals about their mood and their preparedness. At Farafenni Upper Basic School, students started strolling into the school compound as early as 7 a.m., while others came in later in groups. Kura Job, a grade 9 student at the school taking the exams, explained our preparations and how supportive the administration has been.
The administration have been helping us by organizing classes in the school. As well, we, the students, are attending another classes center outside, which is not the same in the school. And when we reach home, we try to find time for ourselves and read our books.
Here is Abdullah Gay, the principal of Farafenni Upper Basic School.
We are grateful that we have started the exam this year again. Our students are well prepared. But just less than a week, we have just completed our mock exam. And the mock exam we prepared for them was really just like the grade 9 Gabega examination.
Another school I visited was St. John's Baptist Basic Cycle School. Here is Sheikh Umar, a grade 9 candidate, taking the exam.
I can say the paper was very easy because the teachers really train us. Because this exam and our internet exam, it is quite different. Because I can say our internet exam, it is too painful or hectic than this one. Because we are trained to be used to difficult questions by our teachers and the administration.
Next was Veronica Jubai, who came from the examination room after taking her paper. Speaking to QTV, she said, as a girl, it wasn't easy to study and do house chores, but with the help of her mom, she was able to cope.
My mom, she's very supportive. She's very, very supportive. After school, sometimes she would even ask me to go to studies without doing my house chores. She would volunteer to do it for me. And she has been paying my study fees.
Daniel S. Gomez, the principal of St. John's, hoped that the caliber of students taking this exam will achieve better results.
This year's number of candidates supersede that of last year because I know what I have on the ground. So this is the reason why I'm 100% optimistic and sure that this year's results will be better than that of last year.
This exam marks the end of 3 years of junior secondary school and the entry into senior secondary education. Everyone we spoke to gave out an air of optimism in anticipation of good results. We wish them good luck. Don Williams, QTV News, reporting from Farafenni.
Indeed, wishing all students who started the exams the very best of luck. We will now shift our attention to news outside the country. Every year on July 18th, the world commemorates Nelson Mandela International Day. This day honors the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela, a revolutionary leader who dedicated his life to fighting the racially biased apartheid system in South Africa. More in this report by Jana Basongo.
Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
The UN General Assembly proclaimed July 18, 2009 as Nelson Mandela International Day in honor of the former president of South Africa's contributions to the culture of peace and freedom. The resolution honors Mandela's principles and his commitment to serving humanity in racial relations, conflict resolution, gender equality, the rights of children and other vulnerable groups, human rights promotion and protection, reconciliation and the fight against poverty. His contribution to the global fight for democracy and the advancement of a culture of peace is recognized by the resolution. Mandela's peaceful resistance to apartheid in South Africa led to him being imprisoned for 27 years for leading the African National Congress, which opposed the apartheid policies that kept South Africa's black residents segregated, often in inhumane conditions. He finally was released in 1990 as apartheid crumbled and was elected South Africa's first black president in 1994, serving for 5 years. During his tenure, he focused on reconciliation, healing the wounds of the past, and promoting equality for all South Africans. He went on to establish the Truth and Reconciliation Commission with the intent of improving the lives of those who had been harmed by the segregation system. Till his death in 2013, Mandela was actively involved with social justice and conflict resolution groups such as the Nelson Mandela Foundation because he believed in doing whatever he could for the greater good. Mandela's efforts have impacted the whole of South Africa and the world as well. The theme for this year's Nelson Mandela International Day is Combating Poverty and Inequality is in Our Hands. Here is part of a statement by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres marking the day.
Nelson Mandela showed us the extraordinary difference one person can make in building a better world. And as the theme of this year's Nelson Mandela International Day reminds us, combating poverty and inequality is in our hands. Our world is unequal and divided. Hunger and poverty are rife. The richest 1% are responsible for the same quantity of planet-wrecking greenhouse gases as 2/3 of humanity. These are not natural facts. They are the result of humanity's choices.
In a statement by the UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, she recalled that Mr. Mandela wrote in his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, that poverty is not an accident like slavery and apartheid. Instead, it is man-made, meaning that humans can eradicate it. She said action so far has not been enough, as the latest UN SDGs revealed that an additional 23 million people were pushed into extreme poverty in 2022. And over 100 million are suffering from hunger than just 5 years ago. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
I stand here before you not as a prophet.
Also in international news, as the war in Gaza intensifies, the Red Cross says hospitals in southern Gaza are at a breaking point because of the influx of Palestinians wounded by the seemingly never-ending bombardment. Julian Jai looks at the situation in Gaza, and she now reports.
The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees says only 10 out of its 26 health centers are currently operational in the Gaza Strip amid sustained Israeli attacks on healthcare facilities in the enclave. The World Health Organization has documented more than 1,000 attacks on healthcare facilities since October 7. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu opposes the establishment of a hospital for children from Gaza on Israeli territory, says his office. Riyad Mansour, Palestine envoy to the UN, tells the Security Council Israel's war on Gaza is the most documented genocide in history. Since the war began, at least 38,848 people have been killed, including 15,000 children, and 89,459 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza, according to the country's health ministry. The death toll in Israel from Hamas-led attacks on October 7 is estimated at 1,139, with dozens of people still held captive in Gaza. According to the latest data from the UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, World Health Organization, and the Palestinian government, as of 14 July, Israeli attacks have damaged more than half of Gaza's homes, 80% of commercial facilities, 88% of school buildings, and 13 out of 35 hospitals are partially functioning. Amnesty International says 27 released Palestinians were subjected to torture in detention. All the documented cases, including a 14-year-old boy, were subjected to other cruel and inhuman treatment by Israeli authorities while held in Israel, according to a report released by the UK-based rights organization. More than 7,000 people are expected to form a human chain around the British Parliament later today, Thursday, organized by Palestine Solidarity Campaign, according to Al Jazeera. The activist organization says members of parliament from across parties, trade union leaders and cultural figures are expected to join the demonstration organized by a coalition of pro-Palestinian groups. The demonstration comes a day after the UK Parliament reconvened for the first time since the general election that ushered in a Labour government. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
We'll now shift our attention to some sports news. In sports news, Barrackunda Lower Basic School are the champions of the Chamoy Bunda Cluster Girls football competition in the Upper River region. Lami Fati attended the game and his story is narrated by Mam Sheikh Ngom.
The Lion Queens of Barrackunda Lower Basic School defeated Morekunda Girls with 1-0 at a final attended by school children and football fans. Kanku Demba scored the only goal for Barrackunda Lower Basic School at the tail end of the first half. Morekunda tried to level the scores in the second half but were unable to equalize. Here is Kanku Demba, scorer of the winning goal.
I am very excited because I scored a goal and the only goal, which led to our victory. My sincere gratitude to all my teammates and our headmaster for the support.
Khadijatu Danso, captain Morekunda from the losing team.
Even though we lost the game, I am glad that we reached the final. It is because they are lucky to win the game. Nonetheless, I thank everyone who made this tournament successful, as it aims to foster a mutual relationship between schools within the cluster.
Ibrahim Asuso, the headmaster of Barrackunda Lower Basic School, highlights the need for organizing such tournaments.
8 schools gathered here in Chamoy Bunda cluster to show the talents of both boys and girls, to also bring them together as the same mother and father, and embrace each other, so that wherever they meet in future, they can remember each other and share ideas and other things. That's the reason of being here today. We are saying a very, very big thank to Baraka Kwama, who is the custodian, or who is the brain behind all this tournament. Finally, what I just mentioned during my opening ceremony, that is the game masters. I told them that if this event succeeded, it's the game masters who make it to succeed. If we fail, it's the game masters who make it to fail. I know we encounter some challenges. That is, my school. But for me, I'm not seeing it as my school. I'm seeing the whole cluster. So I think the teachers also emulate from that. They not see it as their school, but rather the entire cluster as one region, as one school.
Chamoy Bunda cluster comprised 8 schools, namely Barrackunda Lower Basic School, Chamoy Bunda, Gunjur Kunta, Morekunda, Wellingarayare, Bajakunda, Bantunding, and Gunjur Koto Lower Basic School. Women's football is currently at a very low level in the Gambia. However, school authorities in the region believe events such as this could serve as a catalyst for the development of women's football in the region and even nationwide. Reporting for QTV News, I am Mam Sheikh Ngom.
Well, special congratulations to Barrackunda Lower Basic School for winning their championship. Well, that's all we have for you in this bulletin. Join us tonight at 10 p.m. for another news bulletin. Thanks for watching.